presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Even the stunning moments aren't surprising these days. Giles ready for the 1-0 pitch. Hit in the air to center field. Barista going back. It's over his head and up the hill. Odor scored. Andrews around second, digging for third. He is in with a triple, and he has tied the ball game at 2. It's just part of what your Rangers do. And when it's the Rangers against the Astros, all things seem possible. Tonight, they'll close out the season series with Derek Holland looking to put a bow on what has been a gift for the West-leading Rangers. Well, one more evening here in South Texas. Your Rangers take it on the Houston Astros tonight, the finale of this season series from Minute Maid Park. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Graves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us this Wednesday night of Ranger Baseball. Rangers and Astros wrapping up a season series. Rangers wish there were more. Astros thankful to see them leave. It has been one-sided this year, Tom, to say the least.
It has, Buzz. When you look at the Silver Boot, it's never been much of a contest the last couple of years, and we're going to look at the numbers inside the contest, and you can see why. It looks pretty dominating when you look at the numbers. Obviously, the Rangers have won 15 out of 18, but their team average is 60 or 70 points higher. They've scored a run and a half more per game. Their ERA is 2 runs better. Still, in the meantime, even though it's 15-3, 8 of those games have been one-run games. The Rangers are 33-10 this year in one-run games. 25% of them have been against the Astros, so they've had their number, and last night pretty much says it all.
Yeah, and pretty inventive ways to win ball games, too. Late in the game last night, nobody on and 1 out of the 9th inning. You come back to win against the Astros one more time. Well, tonight, Derek Holland will be on the hill, and when we come back after this break, John Radigan is going to sit down and have a conversation with the pitching coach, Doug Brocail. brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today for incredible deals and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. By Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Now the final game of this series and of this season against these Astros. The hats are out here at Minute Maid Park, and before we get underway, let's head down and check in with John Radigan.
Yeah, Buzz, Derek Holland got very late notice last night after the game, after the Rangers had that stirring come from behind victory last night. Was Derek told he would in fact be starting, although he'd been warned earlier in the week this may be a possibility. And his pitching coach Doug Brocail says doesn't matter, he's confident Derek will be prepared.
Derek's one of those guys, he's pretty cerebral. He gets in on the video and he knows exactly what he wants to do when he faces teams. So I hope we give him enough time. Obviously there's been a change of how you prepare yourself. We were going to use him in the pen a little bit if we needed to. If we hit a long patch of, if we would have had 2 extra inning ball games, I'm pretty sure we would have seen Derek. But I think by giving him enough time to prepare himself, Derek will settle in and he'll be ready to pitch tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt Derek Holland actually very excited about the opportunity to get back into that starting rotation. It's only 1 extra day's rest. Here on the field today in the finale of this game, we will see 2 of the best shortstops in the American League, 2 of the best in all of baseball. Elvis Andrus and Carlos Correa and the rest of the Astros and Rangers next on Fox.
Salty Vet says, not on me, big guy. Take those baseballs in those hats and go on back and practice some more. Adrian not buying any of that. Well, Rangers not buying much of what the Astros are selling either. The Rangers have won 15 out of 18. Tom's going to tell you now about the Southwest Airlines Rangers batting order.
Well, Carlos Gomez is leading off again in left field. Last 14 games, he's been a 300 hitter. Ian Desmond bats second in center field. Carlos Beltran is the DH. Adrian Beltre with 97 RBIs is the cleanup hitter. Rougned Odor is the 5th place hitter. Jonathan Lucroy is a catcher. Last 15 games, he's a 380 hitter. Jurickson Profar after the game-winning hit in last night's games, gets the opportunity to start at first base. Tonight, he'll bat 7th. Nomar Mazara is 8th. Batting 9th, the shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
And that lineup put together by Jeff Bannister, facing the 23-year-old right-hander, the rookie out of San Diego. And that would be Joe Musgrove. Musgrove making his 8th career start, his 9th appearance at the big league level. You remember he made his first major league start against the Rangers back in early August right here at Minute Maid Park. 2-4 the record, 4.78 ERA, the league hitting .268. And we are underway as Carlos Gomez swings and doesn't make contact for strike 1. Musgrove, the breakdown, 50%, just a little over 50% fastballs. The fastball slider combo is strong suit. There's a foul tip, making 0-2. Some cutters, a few curveballs, and a few changeup, but primarily the fastball and the hard slider for Musgrove. There's the hard slider. Did he go? Yes, he did. And on 3 pitches, Carlos Gomez, he comes out number 1.
A Ranger to face Musgrove a couple times. He's got pretty good stuff. He's really tough in this ballpark. Much better here than on the road. Short sample. Right off the bat, he pounds the strike zone and then gets Carlos to try to check his swing at a pretty tough slider down and out of the strike zone. Musgrove, a solid fastball, solid slider. Other pitches as well. Those are primarily what he likes to throw.
Now, Ian Desmond up there. Ian hitting at .290, had a day off yesterday. He had started 39 consecutive games and had only missed 2 games the entire season until he took last night off. Well-deserved rest for the Rangers center fielder. 22 home runs, 82 driven in. And Musgrove doing nothing but filling up the strike zone. 0-2. Desmond having a great bounce back year. Last 6 games, he has been almost a .350 hitter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Rangers come into play tonight at 9.5 game advantage. They've had a 9.5 game lead now in the West for the last 6 days. Seattle refusing to lose. The Rangers continuing to win also. And Jeff Bannister's ball club trying to get to the 29 game over 500 mark for the first time this year. And that would be their best record since they finished off the 2012 season. Little tapper slowly hit Musgrove. Can't get it. The big guy reaching down and couldn't find the handle, and Ian Desmond will have a base hit.
Yeah, I was getting interested to see how he was going to throw that to first base. His best shot might have been hitting Ian. Hope he got the call inside the line, because the way his momentum has taken him toward the line, I think he would have had to keep going and try to throw around him on the right side.
He's a big guy, and you get that momentum going downhill. It's tough to stop. He wasn't going to be able to pick it up, plant, and throw, that's for sure.
Didn't look like it.
Musgrove goes 6'5" and about 265 pounds or so. So, Rangers get a base hit. You get Desmond aboard. Here's Carlos Beltran. And again, the Boo Birds out here at Minute Maid Park, remembering the aftermath of the 2004 season when Carlos Beltran went to New York, signed a free agent deal with the Mets instead of re-signing with the Astros here in Houston. Musgrove, again, a quick toss. Beltran for the season, a .296 hitter with 27 home runs and 87 runs driven in. First switch hitter in Major League history with 27 or more home runs and 87 plus RBI at the age of 39 or more. And those are remarkable achievements if you're 29, much less 39. High, and the count goes to 2-0. We mentioned the Rangers had seen Musgrove. The last time that they saw him was in Arlington. Musgrove kind of roughed up in 4 1/3. He gave up 5 runs on 8 hits, a couple of home runs in that ball game. Outside corner, 2-1. Infield in an overshift against Beltran. And that one is outside. 3 balls and a strike. Good look at the defense with the third baseman Bregman playing a normal shortstop spot. So Carlos Beltran trying to get aboard here to join Ian Desmond. Adrian Beltre getting ready in that on-deck circle. Foul back to the screen. The count is full. And one thing we might mention, you can talk about Ian Desmond maybe taking off on this 3-2 pitch. Evan Gattis behind the plate has thrown out more than 50% of opposing base runners trying to steal this year. That's one thing to take into consideration. Desmond, though, one of the premier base stealers. He's staying put now. He's going a line to right field. That is going into the corner. Desmond being waved around third. Here comes Ian. There will be no throw. Carlos Beltran into second, an RBI double. The Rangers out in front 1-0.
Boy, as a hitter, you just love to get your doubles with someone like Ian Desmond on first base, because instead of second and third, it's second and a run in and an RBI for the hitter. Flying around the bases. Ball didn't come out of the corner very well for Springer. That was a hanging slider inside part of the plate, ripped by Carlos down the right field line. And kind of stuck in the corner. By the time Springer could get it in, Desmond scored easily without a throw.
That thing looked like it got down there and stuck against the wall. He just hit it and stopped, dropped straight down.
Yep, no carom at all.
No, 1-0 very quickly. Here's Adrian Beltre. 0-1 after the foul ball. Beltre at .298, 30 home runs, 97 RBI. And here we are with 15 ball games left after tonight. Beltre 3 out of 6 with a home run against Musgrove. Didn't recognize that slider that hung up there early enough.
I almost think sometimes he does that on purpose, just to give the pitcher a little feeling of security that he shouldn't have.
Setting him up.
Yeah.
0-2 now. Up the middle, Altuve behind the bag has it. He will throw out Beltre. On to third goes Beltran. So Beltre grounds out. Beltran at third. Rougned Odor coming up. We'll take a look at the rest of the Astros defense. Hernandez, Marisnik, and Springer left, center, and right. Marwin Gonzalez to start at first. You saw Altuve up the middle. He joins Carlos Correa. Alex Bregman at third, and Evan Gattis catching. Two outs. Here comes Rougned Odor. Odor, the team leader with 31 home runs. He has driven in 85, and he's on a pretty good roll as far as driving runs in. Ball 1. Odor in the last 13 ball games has driven in 20. I'd say that's a pretty good roll.
I'd say it's definitely a good roll. You've seen his average go from the 260s up to 280.
Yeah. Behind the bag, Gonzalez has it. Underhand to Musgrove, and that'll do it. But the Rangers get on the board. Carlos Beltran, the RBI double, plates Ian Desmond after a half inning. Rangers leading 1-0.
It's pretty similar. George Springer on top of the lineup as leadoff hitter in right field. Alex Bregman is at third. Jose Altuve is at second base batting third. Carlos Correa is the shortstop. Yulieski Gurriel is the DH batting fifth. Evan Gattis is catching batting sixth. Marwin Gonzalez gets the start at first base. In left field is Teoscar Hernandez. And in center field, Jake Marisnick.
And the 29-year-old southpaw Derek Holland will face that A.J. Hinch lineup tonight. Holland making his 19th start of the year, 7-7, 4.74 ERA for the left-hander from Newark, Ohio, and he deals strike one to George Springer. Derek, league average against him at 274. That has come up just a little bit of late, and he gets a call strike two. Derek, about 62% fastballs, sliders and curves, the split of the breaking balls, and then 9% changeups. Still 0-2. Springer, 253, 26 home runs, 75 driven in. And Springer and the rest of the top of the order having a bit of a struggle against the Rangers. George Springer in an 0-for-16 streak. And against the Rangers this year, they have held him to a 149 average. 0-for-9 in this series. Holland again with the 0-2. Astros 40-33 here at Minute Maid Park this year. Towering fly ball to deep left field. Back is Gomez at the wall, and that ball is gone. George Springer, his 27th home run of the year, and we are tied at 1.
That was one of those home runs that had a lot of hang time. Couldn't tell right off the bat whether he popped it up to an outfielder or whether he popped it up to a fan. And as time went on and you watched the outfielders go back, you realized he got all of it. Looked like he popped it straight up in the air, a slider down. Looked like he golfs it straight up. And he almost does, but it goes about 375 feet. He's hoping right now. He doesn't know for sure, but it had enough to sneak out of there.
The guesstimate of 386 feet on that long fly ball. So, a quick 1-1 ball game now. Bregman will ground out to Elvis Andrus, one away. So Derek Holland giving up the leadoff home run to George Springer. Holland this year now has given up 13 home runs. 95 innings. And George Springer snapping an 0-for-16 with that long ball. Oh, one away. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve, the league best 340 average, 195 hits. Also the tops in the major leagues. 24 home runs, had his 24th last night. 1 ball and no strikes. Altuve, 7-for-26 against Holland. The hit total we were talking about. And he hits one deep to left field. Back is Gomez up against the padding. He can't get it. Bounces off the wall and into second with a double is Jose Altuve. Fortunately, there's some topspin on that ball. It's only about 320 feet to the wall where that ball hit.
Got a high fastball out over the plate. Nice try by Carlos Gomez going up, timing it into the wall. Just couldn't quite come down with it. A little bit got there before he did. Nice try though, great effort. Just couldn't quite get his glove high enough. Would have been a superb play if he was able to corral that one. Couldn't quite get there.
So Altuve at second now. And Carlos Correa, the number 4 hitter up there. Astros shortstop, a .272 average. Going to third is Altuve. The throw, and they've got him. Oh, he's safe. Third base umpire, Angel Hernandez, right on top of the play. And he said that Beltre had missed the tag. And Jeff Bannister saying, hang on here a second.
The throw was definitely in time. Whether or not the tag connected with Altuve's foot when it slid in is another story, but the throw was there. Let's see. Might have missed him. Couldn't tell.
If he fanned on him, yeah.
Yep.
And Jeff Bannister says, okay, let's take a look at that. I think he got him right there.
He got him right in the foot. Yep.
Looked like it.
Couldn't tell from the one before, but that sure looked like it.
You can understand, though, why Angel Hernandez, from his angle right up the third baseline toward the outfield, would think that he did not tag. From his angle, I'm sure it looked like Adrian just whiffed on the tag attempt.
I think in the old days before replay, that's an automatic out.
Yeah.
Ball's there, the tag's there, you're out.
Now, Angel Hernandez on the right of your screen. Pete Falcone in the middle, by the way. He's there to help the umpires with the headsets. Ted Parrott, the crew chief. And very quick decision. He is out at third. So that is overturned. The Ford bringing you that Ranger challenge. The challenge proves prophetic.
Beltre immediately turned to the dugout. Altuve, when he heard the call, didn't act surprised. So it looked like the right call was made.
Altuve caught trying to steal third with 1 out. Altuve, third in the league in stolen bases, and he doesn't get caught often, but that time he got nailed by Jonathan Lucroy and Adrian Beltre. Carlos Correa takes a strike. 1-1 now. Correa 19 home runs, 90 RBI. Breaking ball comes in the back door, and it's 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. I'm talking about Jonathan Lucroy too. That's the 35th runner that he has nabbed trying to swipe a base this year. That's the most in Major League Baseball. Now 35 out of 101 that he is caught trying to steal. Derek Holland about ready for his 15th pitch of this first inning. 3-2. Correa batting fourth has run the count full. Yulieski Gurriel, the designated hitter tonight, is in that on-deck circle. 3-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Holland with a little bit of anger behind that one gets the strikeout. The leadoff home run by George Springer ties the ball game. We'll head to the second. 1-1 the score. transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by the all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9, meticulously crafted for driving because driving matters. The Ranger fans adorned in their war paint and their red hats and blue shirts. Great to see a lot of Ranger fans in town and coming out to Minute Maid Park. Jonathan Lucroy starting off the Ranger second. Lucroy, Profar, and Mazzara, the first three, due up to face Joe Musgrove. Lucroy for the year, a .299 average, 23 and 75 the power numbers. As a Ranger, hitting right at 300. Lucroy with 10 of his 23 home runs since the 1st of August. One and two. Derek Holland, Springer's home run, the first inning run that he has allowed in his last 12 starts. Right off the end of the bat, tough play for Gonzalez, feeding Musgrove. He got over there quickly, and that is out number one.
Got a shout out to go back home. I saw Corbin and Jamie Alcare before the game with their family. They're excited to be here. Want to send their best to grandparents Bob and Doris Lehman back home. And the whole family here with them. A lot of other families here from Ranger fans back in the Metroplex and Ranger fans down here for that matter.
Yeah, they're everywhere. It's seeing more and more Ranger fans around the country. They get their Ranger gear on and come on out to the ballpark.
Snapping up some pretty good seats too.
Jurickson Profar, the hitter. He's ahead of the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Musgrove. Profar, of course, last night, that big game-winning hit in the top of the 9th inning. Just 2 for his last 15, but that one was the one that sure counted last night. Drove home Elvis Andrus with the second run of that 9th inning. Both of them coming with 2 outs.
Came back-to-back pitches too.
Yeah.
First pitch hitting. Profar hit that ball.
This one lined to center. Marisnik, though, has engaged. 2 gone. So Jurickson makes the U-turn at first base, heads back to the Ranger dugout. Now Nomar Mazzara. Mazzara having a kind of a rough road trip. He's hit just 160 on the trip. On 4 for 25. Took an 0 for 3. Did have a walk last night. Nomar playing in more games than he had ever played in before as a professional. Playing his 133rd game, 134th game with the Rangers this year. So he's trying to figure out how to make all the adjustments that come along with the season winding down and how your body changes.
And the other thing he's not used to at his age and his limited experience that he has playing in the minor leagues is playing a season this long with this many at bats, you know, with the pressure that goes into a big league game day in and day out.
And he's leading the rookie ranks in the American League in those games. Also in home runs, second in RBI, second in multi-hit games. 1 and 2 here as he faces Musgrove. Just able to get a piece of that tailing fastball. Fort Worth representatives for the Texas Rangers on hand here tonight. Strategically placed. Little looper into foul territory. That's going to drop back in the first row. Now, we've talked about it. The Rangers have handed the Astros their hats this year. They are 15-3, 7-1 in this ballpark. Are the Rangers this year. 15 wins, already the second most they've ever had against a team in a season. The most would have been against these Astros also back in 2013 when they won 17.
That was even worse back then.
Went 17-2 in 2013. Bannister's club making it real tough on the in-state rivals. The other way for a base hit. Hernandez over to cut it off before it got into the corner, and Omar Mazara taking advantage of the overship, spanking it the other way for a 2-out single.
Now with 2 strikes, you could almost see him trying to do that, go back through the middle. There was one where he fouled it off, but it obviously would have gone in that direction had he hit it. Pitch out over the plate. Sure looked like he was trying to do that.
Nobody there except Angel Hernandez on that side of the infield. Angel wasn't going to catch it. Now the first pitch to Elvis Andrus is in for strike 1. Elvis, of course, that big game-tying triple last night with 2 outs in the ninth. Also had a double in last night's game. His average back up to 293. Down at the bottom of the strike zone, it's 0-2. Three multiple extra base hits for games this season. Excuse me, in the road. And he's going to line one softly to left for a base hit.
He got a nice 0-2 hanging slider right down the middle.
No, back-to-back 2-out singles.
That's one as the pitcher. He'd say, well, I didn't get away with it, but at least he didn't get it up in the air. 2 outs, I got a shot of getting out of this inning. This is when your eyes light up as a hitter. That's right there, right in the center square.
Let's see Joe Musgrove's reaction. I'm not sure he was saying thank you not hitting it out. He was mad at himself. How in the world could you throw that pitch 0-2?
Yeah, well, it's definitely not where he wanted to throw it.
Yeah, Carlos Gomez, who struck out on 3 straight pitches to begin things tonight, takes strike 1. Carlos, a .212 average overall, 9 home runs, 41 driven in. Nothing in 2. Last 14 ball games, and that is on the heels of that 0 for 18 that Carlos had. He rebounded. He's hit .302 in the last couple of weeks. Trying to pick up Mazara from second and possibly Andrus from first. Got him swinging. Musgrove gets the strikeout. Rangers get 2 hits but strand a pair after 1.5. Rangers 1, Astros 1. Fox Sports Southwest. Ball for the night brought to you by T-Mobile. How about those Seattle Mariners? 7-game winning streak. They've outscored the opponents 50-14. Rangers got them started on that 7-game streak. Line drive to left field by Gurriel on the first pitch that he sees. And that is a hard out, number 1. Back to our greater coverage of baseball. Mariners now trailing Toronto by 2 games in that second wild card spot. Chicago Cubs, meanwhile, about ready to wrap up everything. Defeated the Cardinals this afternoon. Their magic number is now 1 for clinching the NL Central title, and they lead the Nationals by 6.5 games for the best record in the National League. Rangers, by the way, have a 3-game lead over Cleveland for the best record in the American League at the moment. Well, here's Evan Gattis with 1 out and the base is empty here in the second. Ball 1. Gattis has made a habit of hitting home runs when he's been catching. He had 17 of them this year, hitting .244. So 17 of the 26 have come when he's caught or been the catcher in the ballgame. He's also feasted on Derek Holland. And over 500 against the Ranger left-hander. Gattis with a home run and 3 RBI against Holland and 11 at-bats. 2 balls and a strike. With those 17 home runs that Gattis has as a catcher, he's already established a new single-season club record for the Astros. Jason Castro had 16 in the previous record. Backdoor breaking ball evens the count. It's now 2-2. You saw that Gattis has cooled off a little bit of late. Looping line drive, that's going to settle into left field for a single. Gattis just going out and getting that off-speed pitch. We'll take a look at the rest of the Ranger defense, delivered to you by the Texas Department of Transportation. You're seeing Carlos Gomez out on left, Ian Desmond in center, Nomar Azar in right. Erickson Profar and Rougned Odor on the right side of the diamond, with Elvis Andrus and Adrian Beltre on the left side, and Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. A 1 out, 1 on after Gattis has the 3rd Houston hit of the evening. And a breaking ball to Marwin Gonzalez is in for strike 1. Marwin Gonzalez, a switch hitter. .253 overall with a dozen home runs. 40 runs driven in. 3 for 8 in his career against Derek Holland. That ball's well hit to center field. Desmond, though, in front of Towles Hill, able to put it away. Ball hit about 405 feet to straightaway center, and fortunately there's a lot of room to roam back there.
That's pretty much exactly where the ball Elvis hit last night went. I don't think Marisnik was playing quite as deep as Ian was playing on that particular play, and Elvis's ball was a line shot. We remarked last night when Elvis hit that ball, might have been as hard as he's hit a ball to center field. Hit a ball like that in Seattle last year that was pretty close to being that way. So he's had a good road trip as far as hitting balls a long way. When you combine the one last night to dead center to the home run that he hit in Seattle in the upper deck to left field.
Well, 2 away. Teoscar Hernandez takes inside for ball 1. Hernandez this year a .212 average with 3 home runs and 7 driven in. 2 balls, no strikes. Hernandez getting the start in left field tonight. 7th time that he started for the Astros out there. 25 games at the big league level this year. That ball is hit well to left field. Going back is Gomez. That ball is gone. Teoscar Hernandez, the 2nd Astro home run off Derek Holland, and they lead it 3-1.
I hit a couple of balls hard first time through the lineup today. That ball that Hernandez just hit, that's a 400+ 2-foot home run hit on a line to left center field. That ball jumped off his bat. Gaddis lined one to left for a single. And then this is what Hernandez did. Pitch down and in. Kind of down where the ball Springer hit was. Springer hit his high. He launched a line drive out there.
You know, this one judged to be 421 feet. Going back into that alcove out there. No, 3-0, or 3-1, I should say. And Jake Maristic, the number 9 hitter, takes high for ball 1. Astros tonight with 4 hits, 2 home runs, a double, and a single. 1 ball and 1 strike. Maristic, a .213 hitter with 5 home runs and 15 RBI. This season against the Rangers, he's been a little more effective than his overall numbers would tell you. .257 average against Texas pitching. A.J. Hinch's club trying to keep their head above water. They have fallen 4.5 games off the pace for that second wild card spot. Beltre across the diamond. And Maristic retired. So are the Astros. But the Oscar Hernandez with a 2-run home run. Astros lead it 3-1 after 2. This weekend is for a 3-game series, and come on out and support your Rangers at Globe Life Park on Friday night. Also enjoy a post-game fireworks show. Use the coupon code FIREWORKS and you can get upper level tickets for just $14 at TexasRangers.com/specials. The Rangers come to bat here in the 3rd, now trailing 3-1. Ian Desmond, Carlos Beltran, Adrian Beltre. The first 3 to face Joe Musgrove. Desmond got the first inning scoring started with an infield single. He tapped one right down the first baseline, and Musgrove couldn't do anything with it. So Ian, with the base hit, then promptly scored on Carlos Beltran's double. 2-1. Ian Desmond showing, we talk about hitting the ball the other way. Graphic shows you right there, 56 hits to right, 68 to center. He uses the middle part of the diamond and the opposite part of the diamond to perfection. Head of the count here, 3-1. Time was called as Musgrove started into his wind. Desmond trying to reach to start things off here in the 3rd. Carlos Beltran, the Ranger DH, is next. Musgrove taking something off, and Desmond out in front of it. 3-2.
Yeah, for a young pitcher, Musgrove has done that a number of times. Behind in the count, 2-0, 3-1, 1-0. Not afraid to use his slider. Got pretty good command of it. And there it is again.
Call strike 3. Desmond caught window shopping on that one.
Got every bit as much confidence that he can throw that for a strike as he does his fastball. Through at 3-1, he makes it an even better pitch, 3-2.
Well, third strikeout for Musgrove, second in a row. Now Carlos Beltran, who doubled into the right field corner first time up, steps in. There's the curveball. Musgrove drops in for strike 1. "17 sliders tonight, 13 of them for strikes." Little looper out toward the shortstop. That's Carlos Correa playing on the first base side of second. 2 gone. Well, with 2 outs, the base is empty. Adrian Beltre coming up. Before we tell you about Adrian, we're going to send it back to Dana Larson for a Chevy game break. All right, Dana, thank you. Ray's making it tough on some folks. Playing pretty well this last little stretch.
Yeah, you never know what teams are going to be dangerous coming down the stretch, but there's always some teams with nothing to lose that are playing pretty nice baseball by the end of the year. Tampa Bay hasn't had a great season, but they had better expectations the way it's turned out. If they get all their pitchers healthy, could be a much different team next year certainly going into the season. They could be. Alex Cobb has been hurt all year long. They should get him back. That'll make a big difference.
Now the 1-2 to Beltre. In the air to right field. Springer right there for the catch, and that'll do it. First 1-2-3 inning of the night for Joe Musgrove. Rangers gone after 2.5. 3-1 Astros. Ice cream Sunday. The ice cream is just $1 for youngsters 13 and under. Come on out to Globe Life Park. Support your Rangers as they take on the Oakland A's. Find your tickets for September 18th at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. Bottom of the 3rd inning, top of the Astro order. Plays Derek Holland for the 2nd time. George Springer, who started the ball game off for Houston by Hitting a towering home run to left. Takes that pitch outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Springer now 27 home runs, 76 RBI. Out of play to the right, 1-2. Also on the home run, Springer upping his run scored total to 109. Came in third, tied for third in the American League with those 108 scored. One-two pitch. Inside. I don't know how that ball missed Springer. Was following him in there. It looked like a cut fastball that bored in on Springer as he spun out of the way.
Springer's had injuries the last couple of years, but this year he's been healthy. Leads the American League in games played. He's only missed 1 game this year.
3-2 pitch, line to right. That's going to settle in for a base hit. Mazara over to cut it off, and Springer aboard. His second hit of the night. He's on base to start the third.
The Astros are doing a pretty nice job of making fairly solid contact on a variety of pitches. That ball's down and away. Maybe it's a strike, borderline. But Springer, who hit a home run to left field, pretty nice job of hitting that ball down and away to right field. Seen Gaddis hit a pitch down for a line drive. They've had 5 hits pretty solidly, all of them.
1 on, nobody out for Alex Bregman. Breaking ball for strike 1. Bregman, a ground ball to short back in the first inning. Bregman with that ground out now 0 for his last 11 times to the plate. 0-2. Bregman, who had a career best 10-game hitting streak snapped by the Rangers here on Monday night. Because it kept him hitless in this series. Now Holland okays the sign. A check of first. Nomar Mazara backing up a couple of steps. That is out number 1. Staying at first is Springer. Jose Altuve now will come to the plate.
Yeah, as hot as Bregman has been, he's kind of due to cool off a little bit. Since the 6th of August, second in the major leagues in RBI, so he was hot for about a month, 25-game stretch. Rangers are doing a pretty good job of cooling him off in this series.
Yeah, not only did the Rangers snap his hitting streak, they snapped his on-base streak.
Yeah.
That had been 25 straight games. You're right, Tom. He had been a menace to all the opposition in baseball.
They've got good young infield. Gurriel's not young, he's 32, first year in the big leagues from Cuba. But the Rangers over the next 4 or 5 years, they're going to get a lot of opportunities to get some really good players out at the plate, because those guys can all hit. Bregman's going to be a really good hitter. He's got a chance to be a 300 hitter, top of the lineup guy. You already know about Altuve. Correa is one of the best young players in the game, and from what we've seen of Gurriel, he looks like he might be right there with all of them. Just getting his feet wet in the big leagues, but he's an experienced guy with a great swing.
Jose Altuve takes inside for ball 1. Altuve doubled off the wall and left his first time. Kind of a sinking line drive that just eluded Carlos Gomez out there.
I think when you look at the Astros, they have a core, excellent core, young core. One thing the Astros don't have is they don't have Adrian Beltre. They don't have that veteran guy on their team that provides the leadership. Not that the young guys don't have their own leadership qualities, but it's different when you've got a guy that's played in the big leagues as long as Adrian. You've got Ian Desmond. Elvis has played for 7 or 8 years. Then they had Carlos Beltran and Jonathan Lucroy. The Rangers blend the youth with a veteran group. And so if you're Rougned Odor, Nomar Mazara coming into the big leagues, you're not just looking around trying to figure it out. You've got veteran guys who have been there and are guiding you along the way. And I don't think the Astros have that yet.
Well, and that's the thing, too, what you just mentioned. They guide them along the way. You have veterans that are willing to take the younger players under their wing, so to speak, and really tell them what it's all about.
Well, we show Adrian almost every day. We don't know exactly what he's saying, but the message is pretty clear. He is talking to these guys, and he is trying to teach them the right way to play the game. And Ian is like that. Beltran is quiet, but I'm sure he's the same way.
And Prince Fielder before he went down with
exactly.
injury. Prince was really influential that way.
Prince had young guys staying with him at his house sometimes.
Yep.
So yeah, you certainly can't forget about the job that Prince did in that regard as well. So the Astros, looks like they need some help behind the plate. They would certainly benefit from another addition to the top of their rotation. Based on the core that they've got, you can't get too overly carried away with the fact that the Rangers are 15-3 against them this year. They're better than that. The domination, wins and losses in 1 year, can be a little bit misleading when you look at the overall talent that they have. You almost wonder, as a young team like that, playing against our ball club, the way these last 2 years have gone, the game gets late. They have to be thinking in the back of their minds, okay, what's going to happen this time?
Sure.
Here it comes. Who's going to do it? And, you know, last night you steer through the middle of the lineup. You're probably feeling pretty good. And you get a man on first base on a wild pitch strikeout. It's not the end of the world. Your pitcher's throwing 100 miles an hour. And then Elvis hits a line drive 400 feet to center field to tie it up. And Jurickson Profar wins the game. It wasn't Rugi. It wasn't Adrian. It wasn't Beltran. It wasn't Desmond. It was the two guys at the end of the lineup. So they don't know who it's going to be, but they got a pretty good idea that it's coming.
Yeah, that has to be the frustrating part for them. Altuve to right center field, and Mazara will slide over to take this one. 2 gone. And that happens in baseball. You get especially with the teams that you play so often, 18, 19, 20 times a year. Rangers and Astros matching up, and everybody in the division matching up that often. You know, you can get on a negative roll and have it really affect your overall record when it's in your division like that.
And you know, if a guy's a 260 hitter, it doesn't mean he hits 260 against every team and 260 against every pitcher. And if you win at a 596 to 600 clip, it doesn't mean you win 6 out of 10 games against every team. It means at some point in time you're going to be 500 against some, 800 against others.
Yep.
Rangers haven't played great against the A's this year. It's just one of those deals. The Rangers have had the Astros number.
Or the Twins.
Yeah, or the Twins. Look at it. The Twins swept us.
Yeah.
So it's strange how that works, and you really, the reporters always want to know, why does this happen? How can you explain it? And sometimes, you can look at it statistically any way you want, but sometimes the only answer is, hey, that's just the way it goes in baseball. You play 162 games. It doesn't come out symmetrically the whole way.
Sometimes there is no answer to why in baseball.
No. Why? If you had this kind of dominance, you would think it would be the very, very best team against the very, very worst team. But even under those circumstances, you don't see teams going 15-3. So this is a case of a good team doing it to another good team, and just highly unusual.
One and 2 to Correa. Got him swinging. Well, Holland able to go up the ladder. Correa didn't have an extra rung up there to go on to. So, Leadoff single. He is stranded after 3. Astros leading 3-1. Now let's go to Aaron Hardigan in our Rooms to Go lounge. To 1 as Rougned Odor will lead things off here in the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Odor, Lucroy, and Profar to face Joe Musgrove. Musgrove has settled down a little bit since giving up a run in the 1st inning. He's retired the last 4 and he throws ball 1 to Odor. Rougned grounded out to first as he ended the 1st inning. Pop foul back behind home plate, and that's back into the seats. 1 ball and 1 strike. Home runs by second baseman this season in the major leagues. Ryan Dozier leading the list. He has 40 of them.
Chad Jerko.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know he had 26 home runs.
Yeah, the second basemen are sneaking up on people this year. And how about this? Home runs by second baseman. You go back to 2009, 477 was the next highest mark by second baseman. Just keeps getting worse. Look at these guys.
Well, there's some really good. Almost every team has a good second baseman.
Yeah.
There just aren't many bad second basemen.
Pitch is called strike 3 on the outside corner. Odor didn't think so. He can stomp away from home plate without saying anything.
It doesn't pass the eye test, that's for sure. And not really passing the Fox Tracks test either.
In any event, that's the 4th strikeout tonight.
Passed the test of Joe Musgrove.
Yeah.
He thought it was a strike.
Jonathan Lucroy. Big strike 1. Lucroy, a ground ball to the right side. His first time up.
And you look at the American League, and if you're a second baseman, let's say you're Roogie, it could be tough to make an all-star team. And you look at the Altuve, Cano, Pedroia, Dozier.
Yep.
You might go through your whole career and play 15 or 20 years in the big leagues and be an all-star caliber player and maybe be knocking on the door of the Hall of Fame and only go to the all-star game 3 or 4 times. And you look at the competition you've got going against you. Ian Kinsler is another excellent second baseman. Jonathan Scope is going to be an up-and-coming second baseman for the Orioles. There's just a lot of competition here.
And Scope is, what, a year older than Odor, so they're kind of in the same class.
Yeah,
of second baseman.
Yeah. Well, right now it kind of starts with Altuve and Cano.
Out of play to the right. Well, at the bat of Lucroy, still no balls, 2 strikes. .298 average for Jonathan Lucroy. Base is empty, 1 away here in the 4th inning. Ball's well hit to center field, but Maristic able to glide to his right for it. 2 gone. A 2 up, 2 away. That's now 6 straight set down by Musgrove and the Astros. Jurickson Profar will be the next Ranger to come up. Profar had a fly ball to center back in the 2nd inning. Altuve down on 1 knee, and that's going to be a very quick and easy 1, 2, 3 innings. 7 straight now. Set down in order. Bill Musgrove and the Astros have it going 3-1 Houston. First, it's the next Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog night at Globe Life Park. The Angels are in town to play the Rangers. You can head on out early and enjoy all the hot dogs you can eat for just $1 each. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. Eric Holland out to the hill, working here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Yulieski Gurriel leading things off. He'll be followed by Evan Gattis and Marwin Gonzalez. Gurriel lined to left field his first time up. Adrian Beltre picks him clean down there at 3rd.
Pretty much no such thing as a bad hop when it's hit to Adrian. You know, Buzz, following up on the second baseman, I just glanced down at the statistical sheets. The top 4 hitters in baseball are Daniel Murphy, DJ LeMahieu, Jose Altuve, and Dustin Pedroia. They're all second basemen.
All second basemen.
Two in each league.
Wow.
And here's what we're talking about with no bad hops. What's a bad hop to somebody is just middle of the glove to Adrian.
Yep. That's exactly where it goes every time.
Some other guys, similar plays, you go, was that going to be a base hit or an error? It could go either way. It's just a tough hop. With Adrian, you don't generally worry about that because whether it's a tough hop or not, he caught it.
Evan Gattis, the hitter. And he's ahead of the count now. 2 balls and no strikes. Gattis singled and scored in the 2nd inning. Astros 3 runs on 5 hits. Rangers 1 run on 4 hits tonight. 2-1.
Good rip at that.
Yes, he did.
Gattis just looks like Paul Bunyan or a lumberjack. He doesn't have the general look of a baseball player. Got the beard.
Looks like a mountain man.
Yeah, no batting gloves. That's kind of an unorthodox grip on the bat. Crouch down. But he's a dangerous hitter, boy.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Yes, he is.
We've been talking about how well he's been hitting lately. When you look at his numbers over the last 40 games, 25% of the season, he's been hitting 295. So his average overall is 244, but for quite a while, it's been over 300, right around 300.
Full count now. Gaddis batting 6th. He'll be followed by the first baseman, Marwin Gonzalez. Holland has not walked a hitter tonight. He struck out a couple. Now the 3-2. That is hit high in the air to left field. Not going to carry far enough to be any danger. As Carlos Gomez puts it away. 2 gone. Didn't have the real solid click that hitters like to hear.
This is kind of the sound that you would like.
Yeah, I like that. Kind of sounds like you hit it with a morning newspaper. A wet one. So Gaddis back to the bench, 1 for 2. Here's Marwin Gonzalez, who flied to center in the 2nd inning. No balls and a strike. Gonzalez now 3 out of 9 against Derek Holland. 252 average overall. Oh, and 2. Derek working on a string now of 5 straight retired. Got him swinging. Pulling the string and gets his 3rd strikeout of the night. It's a 1-2-3 inning. We're going to go to the 5th here at Minute Maid Park. The Astros leading the Rangers 3-1. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today for incredible deals and see why Ford is the best in Texas. A nice overhead of downtown Houston. Clear night outside, very comfortable night inside. Nice crowd on hand this Wednesday evening, and Nomar Mazara leading things off for the Rangers here in the 5th inning. Joe Musgrove on a pretty good roll. He's retired 7 straight. Mazara had a 2-out single in the 2nd inning. This time the Astros do not go into the overshift, at least early in the count. Tyler White now playing at first. Mazara pops it foul. Marwin Gonzalez now over at second. So Jose Altuve out of the ballgame. 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Joe Musgrove, and subject of our Kubota power stats for tonight. 2 starts against the Rangers at Minute Maid this season. He's only given up 2 runs in 11 innings of work. 9 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts. We were not given any more information about the absence of Altuve, why he was taken out of the ballgame. If we do find out something, we'll certainly let you know. 1-2 pitch. Musgrove with 70 pitches under his belt here tonight. Working to the leadoff man in the 5th inning. Ball rip foul off the screen in front of the Astros dugout.
That's one of a nice safety features that's been developed over the years, of the screens in front of the dugout. They never used to be there. They had to be heads up in the dugout. Those balls used to shoot in the dugout every game. Some of them sneak over that, but that's a nice addition to the dugout over the last number of years. Can't remember exactly when that started. Just remember when we played, we didn't have it.
No, it was more dangerous down there then. Now Musgrove again at 2-2. Got him swinging. Well, Nomar, a long at bat, but he goes down on strikes. 1 gone. That's strikeout number 5 for Musgrove. It'll bring up Elvis Andrus.
Well, Musgrove mentioned this earlier. Pitches really well in this park coming into the game. He pitched about half his innings here, a little more than half his innings. 22 2/3 with a 1.19 ERA. About what he's at right now into the 5th inning, only giving up 1 run.
And Elvis jumping out in front of one and pulls it foul into the seats down the left side.
Well, Elvis had a hanger the last time up that he lined to left field. This time he had almost the same pitch and jumped at it a little bit and pulled it foul.
And Elvis trying to tell himself, now calm down, don't jump at that thing.
Well, Elvis has had 5 home runs. He had a chance for another one tonight.
Took that breaking ball for strike 2. Elvis, the last Ranger that has reached base against Joe Musgrove. That was with a 2-out single in the 2nd inning. 0-2 delivery. Got him swinging.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Generally, you get a decent pitch to hit every at bat. Not all the time, but generally speaking, you do. And Elvis had his one good pitch that he pulled foul, and then you end up having to hit this. And that's a breaking ball down in a way that's a little bit tougher to hit. And so many times you go back to the dugout after making an out and say, well, I had a good fastball right there to hit, and I fouled it off, or had my hanger, fouled it off.
Yep.
I guess that's the key to being a really good hitter or an average hitter. Really good hitters don't miss those mistakes quite as much as the rest of the hitters do.
Second pitch to Carlos Gomez, low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Gomez has struck out both times that he faced Musgrove tonight. Musgrove now with 6 strikeouts. He gets a strike right at the bottom of the zone there. 2-1. Understand from the Astros clubhouse that Jose Altuve left with some discomfort in his right oblique. They're not specifying the severity of it, just saying it's discomfort rather than a pull. Now Carlos Gomez with a 2-out walk. We'll head down to first. That's the first free pass issued tonight by Joe Musgrove. Musgrove does not walk people. his entire minor league career, he never did walk more than 2 in one game. And he is very much a strike thrower. And that snaps a string of 9 consecutive Rangers retired. Going to bring up Ian Desmond for the 3rd time tonight. Desmond 1 out of 2, a first inning single and a strikeout in the 3rd. Multi-hit game leaders this year in the American League. Mookie Betts, the leader with 59. Jose Altuve at 57. Then Ian Desmond at 54. A chance with a hit tonight. And one more to move up to his 55th. Desmond having quite a year when you look back on the entire body of work. Pops this one up. It's going to stay in play. Tyler White, with room in front of the Astros dugout, makes the catch. That'll do it. The 2-out walk to Carlos Gomez does no good for the Rangers. They strand a runner halfway through the game. Astros by 2. On Saturday, October 1st, to receive a Colby Lewis bobblehead. That's courtesy of Kroger. Come on out and support your Rangers. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. Teoscar Hernandez leading things off against Derek Holland here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hernandez, the difference in the ball game right now. He had that 2-run home run in the 2nd, his 4th of the year. One ball and one strike. Holland back to the plate. Gets strike 2. Is coming out of the chute pretty fast in his first month of play with the Astros. This one skied to center. Ian Desmond in and to his left.
A better selection of pitches, better location for sure in that at bat. A couple of off-speed pitches and a good fastball inside, and sort of being able to get the barrel of the bat on it. He jammed him with it.
A 1 out of the fly ball, and now Jake Marisnik will come up. Marisnik, the Astros center fielder tonight, and number 9 hitter. And a ground ball to Beltre. Back in the second inning. Holland's first pitch to him. Foul ball, and it's 0-1. Nick now 3 out of 11 against Derek Holland. Find yourself down to the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Now, Holland 67 pitches so far, 45 strikes, 22 balls. And since the first couple of innings, Derek has gotten himself back on level ground. Gave up the leadoff home run of the first to George Springer, and then a double to Altuve. In the second, it was a 1-out single to Gaddis and a 2-run home run by Hernandez. See the pitch count breakdown inning by inning for him. Reaching for it, Marisnick pops one in foul territory. Jurickson Profar handles that for out number 2. Going to take the Astros back to the top of the order. It'll be George Springer before he steps in. We're going to send it back to Dana Larson for a Chevy game break. All right, Dana, thank you. The Dodgers opening up a pretty good lead now over the Giants in the National League West.
Yeah, the Giants are amazing. They've been one of the worst teams in baseball in the second half of the season after the All-Star break. They've lost the lead to the Dodgers, but they're still right there in the wild card race.
They sure are.
And based on their history over the last 10 years, if they get there, you never know what's going to happen. What they've done in the second half is meaningless.
Springer fouls it back 0-2. Yeah, it's an even year, so if the Giants get to postseason, look out. George Springer, 2 out of 2 tonight. That leadoff home run in the first inning. Then a single his last time up. That's out of play to the right. Matter of fact, Springer was the last Astro to hit or get on base against Derek Holland. And there's the wild card race in the National League. Giants half game up on the Mets. St. Louis a half game back. Really a 3-team race, it looks like right about now. Miami is 4.5 back, and the Pirates 5.5. Call, strike 3. Holland got it right at the bottom of the zone, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Derek now has retired 9 straight. We played 5. Astros leading 3-1, and Adrian Beltre will lead things off for the Rangers in the 6th. now for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $300 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Jessica Meza from Fort Worth will win $300. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Jessica is going to win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. And just like that, Carlos Beltran out on a very nice play by shortstop Carlos Correa. One pitch and one away.
Well, he might have found a hole into the shift. Correa had another idea. Playing on the other side of second base. He was able to catch it, get something on his throw, too.
He can do that at short, can he?
He's got an arm.
Strong arm. Well, here's Beltre. Adrian 0 for 2 tonight. A ground out and a fly ball to right. And our TXU Energy Power player to watch. That man on your screen, the 37-year-old veteran Adrian Beltre. In September, he has been tearing it up. He's going to ground out to Gonzalez, the second baseman here on the shortstop side of second. That's out number 2. So base is empty for Rougned Odor. Joe Musgrove has not given up a base hit since the second inning. Just one base runner. That was a 2-out walk in the 5th to Carlos Gomez. Seems like he's able to drop that ball right at the bottom of the zone, just about on command. And Rougned reaching for that. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
Pretty strong strike to ball ratio, 65 strikes and 22 balls. And pounding that strike zone.
Foul back to our left. And Joe Musgrove getting ready for another 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Odor gone. The out will be recorded as Rougned heads back to the Ranger dugout. 3 up, 3 down after 5.5. Astros 3, Rangers 1. Southwest are teaming up to raise a toast to Ranger fans for a great season. Come on out and help us red out the ballpark September 26th through the 28th with special $13 tickets. When you buy a ticket using the online coupon code ThankYouFans, you'll receive a complimentary soda, water, or beer courtesy of the Fan and Fox Sports Southwest. Visit TexasRangers.com slide special to run out the ballpark, take advantage of this great deal. Alex Bregman leading off the bottom of the 6th inning, a solid double into the left field corner. Snaps a string of 9 straight retired by Derek Holland. Bregman aboard, and he snaps an 0-for-11 streak.
Adrian tries to knock that one down with his bare hand.
You never know what you're going to get. Adrian's coming up with new stuff seemingly daily. Tyler White, who entered the ball game, take over at first base, is hitting in the place of Jose Altuve. In case you missed it, Altuve left with some discomfort in his left oblique. Tyler White, a .209 hitter with 7 home runs, 25 RBI. Was batting in that 3rd spot. A strike, and it's 1-1. White, in his last 4 ball games, has found tough sledding, 0 for 7 with a couple of strikeouts. White 0 for 2 against Derek Holland in previous matchups. Bregman out at second. And Holland now the advantage in the count at 1-2. Astros 3 runs on 6 hits this evening. Rangers 1 run on 4 hits. They have been throttled by Joe Musgrove since the 2nd inning. Rangers have had very little opportunity to do much. And Derek Holland has done just about the same thing to the Astros since the 2nd inning. Pop foul, that's going to reach the seats. Still 1-2. If you missed it, you were expecting to see Yu Darvish on the hill tonight. He was going to pitch Saturday at home. Leclerc and Alvarez getting ready in the Ranger bullpen. Yu Darvish moved back. Cole Hamels will start the Friday night game against the Oakland A's. Yu Darvish on Saturday. Colby Lewis on Sunday.
Some people got to the game, they were a little bit surprised when he wasn't pitching, it looks like.
Off the fists and foul to the right. Tyler White, you'll remember, got off to a terrific start. American League Player of the Week for the first week of the season. Rookie had it all going and then ran on hard times. Yu Darvish kicking back, enjoying the ball game tonight. Holland with another 1-2 pitch. Jose Altuve had to leave the ball game. You see a pained expression on Altuve's face there, and that was a swing that apparently did him in. Tyler White entering the ball game to take over in his number 3 spot. White playing first base, and Marwin Gonzalez, who had been at first, moved over to second. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. White giving Derek Holland a little bit of a tough time. Derek getting ready for his 82nd pitch of the night. Beltre snags that one, and he's going to make the play at first. Bregman tried to stop, and Bregman hurt himself.
Pulled a hamstring.
He was trying to decide whether to go as he saw Beltre ranging wide of the bag, and Bregman took off, and then all of a sudden a sniper got him.
We were talking about the bad hop. No such thing as a bad hop, and we showed one a couple of innings ago. That one was even tougher. That was a really tough hop,
that hit right in the middle of his glove. And maybe, I'm not sure when he did it, maybe when he ducked down to get underneath Adrian's throw.
I think you're right.
It looked like the timing of it anyway. Well, Tuve had possible rib injury. Those can be anywhere from a week to a month. Bregman, I don't see how he can stay in the game with the thing tightening up on him like that.
A.J. Hinch and the Astros training staff out there to take a look at it. Gary Pettis, the third base coach, keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, can't take any chances.
No. No. So hopefully Bregman's going to be okay. I think with a young talent like that, they aren't going to take any chances of either tonight or rushing him back. Astros really are in a have-to-win mode, but they will be very cognizant of Alex Bregman's best interest. Well, we'll get a pinch runner here momentarily for Bregman. He'll be at third base with one out. Carlos Correa will be the hitter. A.J. Hinch has a pretty good cast of characters to choose from.
Not many second basemen, though.
No.
He's got Castro, Kemp's an outfielder, Reed's a first baseman, Rasmus is an outfielder, left-handed, Max Stassi, Tony Kemp going to come out there.
Going to be Kemp. So Kemp will take over for Bregman at third. We'll see what that does to the defensive alignment when the Astros go back out to the field for the top of the seventh. Right now, with Carlos Correa coming up, it's like the Rangers are going to go ahead and put him on. You've got Yulieski Gurriel, the designated hitter in the on-deck circle. And I showed you also the Rangers with double-barreled action in the bullpen. Jeff Bannister has left-hander, right-hander down there. Leclerc and Alvarez. Leclerc being the right-hander. So you would think with the intentional walk that if you're going to do that, you would probably bring in Leclerc to face Gurriel. And the fourth white one is issued. Carlos Correa on down to first. And Doug Brocail you off the mound. So they're not going to bring in the right hand. Jeff Bannister's going to allow Derek Holland to go ahead and work to Gurriel. Gurriel 0 for 2 tonight. Although he's hit the ball reasonably hard. He lined to left and grounded sharply to third. And an opportunity here now with a ground ball at an infielder. You can get a double play and get out of the inning unscathed. That intentional walk, the first walk of any kind issued by Holland tonight. So here's Gurriel with runners at the corners. Going the other way, it's a base hit. Tony Kemp scores. Gurriel around second, going to third. The throw is cut off. Gurriel with the RBI. The Astros lead it 4-1.
Not an especially hard hit ball, but Gurriel found a hole with the first baseman holding the runner on.
So Jeff Bannister now out, and he is signaling to the bullpen. He wants the right-hander to come on in to the ball game. Gurriel getting that pitch up in the middle of the strike zone and took it the other way for the RBI. So the Astros leading 4-1 as Derek Holland exits the ball game. Jose Leclerc will come in, and we'll take a timeout. We'll tell you all about Leclerc.
Rangers here at Minute Maid Park. Pitching change underway, and today we made a sojourn down to Pearland, Texas, actually down there to interview Steve Buechele's other son, Garrett, and his wife, Susie, for a feature coming up. But while in Pearland, we had to stop at Killen's Barbecue. Everybody says it is one of the best barbecue places in all of Houston. Look at that. It's like a picture postcard with the tree in the sky and the Killen's Barbecue, Texas barbecue. So that's always a good thing. This place used to be a cafeteria. The old-timers from Pearland will remember it's the same building right there. That was the school cafeteria. Now, I can't imagine the cafeteria ladies were making food as good as what they're making at Killen's today, but maybe they were. Jeff Irwin, our photographer, had the brisket tacos and that beautiful loaded baked potato. Look at that thing. That is like off a postcard as well. But I was going to get the typical big barbecue plate, you know, try one of all the meats and a couple of the sides and just see what they had to offer. And then this walked by me, and I had to try it. It's the pork chop. Look at that thing. Absolutely beautiful. Smoked pork chop with the greatest rub on it. And, you know, with apologies to my wife, who has a pretty good Italian pork chop recipe, that right there, guys, is the best pork chop I've ever eaten. I'm telling you, Killen's was killing it today.
That does look good, John.
Man, it was
How'd
good.
that corn compare to the smoked corn you had the other day?
No, I'd go back to Gatlin's for the smoked corn, but man, that pork chop, woo, that was good.
Ian Desmond's going to have to play that on a hop. Coming down the line from third to score is Carlos Correa. Evan Gattis dumping a little single to center. Drives home the 5th run of the evening. It's 5-1 Houston. Didn't hit it hard, but hit it in the right spot.
Just kind of reached out and stroked it. Hit it right off the end of the bat. In that case, it probably helped him to hit it off the end of the bat because it didn't go far enough for Ian to catch it.
Jose Leclerc appearing in his 7th ball game. 3.24 ERA. League hitting just .214 against him. Last time we saw Jose was in the Seattle series up at Safeco. 9 strikeouts for Leclerc in 8 1/3 innings, but 11 walks. That command has been a little bit of an issue. Still just 1 out now. Runners at first and second. Marwin Gonzalez, the switch hitter, will turn around to bat left-handed against Leclerc. Ball 1 is low. Gonzalez, a fly ball to center and a strikeout tonight. Derek Holland, 5 1/3 innings of work, 7 hits, all 5 runs so far on his leisure. He's still responsible for Gurriel out there at second. Evan Gattis, the responsibility of Jose Leclerc. Holland had 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. That is out of play to the left. A ball and a strike. Well, Derek went through a streak, the 3rd through the beginning of the 6th inning. Threw the ball pretty much where he wanted to on demand, but the numbers will not look as though he had an improved amount of command tonight. 2-1. Derek had said after that last outing that he had against Seattle that he just had to pitch better and command the baseball better. Gave up 10 hits in 4 1/3 innings. Tonight, 7 hits in 5 1/3. Two balls and a strike. Gonzalez waiting. Two and two. Talked about Jose Leclerc and that changeup that he throws it. Make it go 2 different ways. That was the one that goes away from a left-hander. He also has one that goes away from a right-hander or into a left-hander.
That's the one you swear is a slider.
Yeah. Or you just swear if you happen to be hitting against it.
Well, he's got a good arm. He's got a lot of potential. Still a little rough around the edges, but I like the physical talent. Arm strength.
Yep.
Just a matter of developing.
He's just a 22-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. Made his way through the minor league system pretty rapid fashion. Leaves that one high and outside, and the count is full. So Gonzalez batting seventh, followed by Teoscar Hernandez. Five runs on 8 hits for the Astros tonight. 1 run on 4 hits for the Rangers. Got Gurriel at second, Gaddis at first. Rangers in double play depth. Ian Desmond retreating to his right has a play. Gurriel tags at second. He will advance to third. Well, there'll be 2 outs with runners at the corners for Hernandez. Oscar Hernandez had a 2-run home run in the second inning off Derek Holland. Now 4 home runs, 9 driven in. Hernandez came up to the Astros back on the 12th of August. So he's been in the big leagues just a couple of days over a month. Pops up that first pitch. Odor calling as he backpedals into right field. That'll do it. Astros had 2 runs on 3 hits and lead 2. After 6, 5-1 Houston. Tonight's 4-game summary got started well for the Rangers. Carlos Beltran, an RBI double driving home Ian Desmond in that first inning. 1-0 Rangers. But then the Astros turned it on. George Springer leading off the first inning with his 27th home run of the year, tied the game. And Teoscar Hernandez, the second inning against Derek Holland, a 2-run home run. The Astros would go on to score 2 more in the 5th inning and lead it by a 5-1 count. So Joe Musgrove, who has really settled in nicely since the second inning. He's only allowed 1 base runner since that frame, and will go after the Rangers here in the 7th. Lucroy, Profar, and Mazzara. Tony Kemp, who came on as a pinch runner, stays in the ballgame, takes over at second with Marwin Gonzalez moving from second to third, his 3rd new position today. Started at first, went to second. Chopper over the mound. Kemp gets found very quickly, and he throws out Lucroy, 1 gone. No, 1 away. Here comes Jurickson Profar. Profar 0 for 2 tonight. Fly ball to center, ground ball to second. Musgrove deals strike one.
Well, he's thrown a lot of strikes. 91 pitches, 69 strikes, and only 22 balls. That's pretty impressive.
Yes, it is.
Gotten away with a few hanging sliders, but for the most part, he's been tough. Sneaky fastball, good movement on it. And when he throws that slider down and away, not much damage being done to it at all.
Drops that curveball just off the outer edge, 2-1. He's been able to do that early in the count too. Get the off-speed pitch over. Kind of put you on the defensive as a hitter, I would think.
Yeah, most hitters are fastball hitters. You hate to see the guy get ahead of you with a curveball because usually you take it and you're behind in the count. You're not sure you're going to get a good fastball to hit after that.
Musgrove tonight has struck out 7. Just had the 1 walk. That was to Carlos Gomez back in the 5th inning. 2-2. Now full count. So Profar trying to get aboard here in the Rangers 7th. Omar Mazara is next in the order. Musgrove with a 3-2 pitch.
The only thing he's been doing is that. Not necessarily a fastball, 3-2. When he's behind in the count, and able to throw those off-speed pitches, whether it's a slider or curveball, usually a slider, but sometimes a curveball.
Evan Gattis. Let's try that slider again. And foul back. Jurickson trying to get aboard here. Rangers had 2 hits in the first for their run, had 2 more hits in the second. Have not had a hit since 2 out in the second. It's out of play. Musgrove, a 23-year-old. 37 fastballs, 61 off-speed pitches. Another foul ball. That one got a piece of Jurickson's foot. Well, Musgrove getting ready to throw his 100th pitch of the night. This is the 9th pitch of this at bat coming up for Profar. Outside, and Jurickson takes a walk. A.J. Hinch keeping a close eye on Joe Musgrove tonight. And now Brent Strom, the Astros pitching coach, going to go out and take the temperature of his big, tall right-hander. Pat Neshek, the submariner out there throwing. Now the walk by Musgrove, the second since the 5th inning. He had a walk to Gomez, now the 1-out walk here in the 7th. 74% strikes tonight. That's a very healthy figure. Strom giving Neshek an opportunity to get further along toward being loose. 1 on, 1 out. Mazara tonight has singled and struck out. Strike 1.
A little bit of a liberal strike zone right there.
One ball and 1 strike. 17 pitches that Nomar Mazara has seen tonight. Only 6 of them have been fastballs. Popped one foul. That's back into the seats. 1-2. Joe Musgrove last time out pitched a good game here at home against the Chicago Cubs. Was a loser, but had a quality start. 6 innings, just 3 hits and 2 runs against Chicago. Astros were shut out that day 2-0. Mazara at the plate, Profar at first. Rangers trailing by 4 here in the 7th inning.
That's just hanging in there on a pitch you thought might be called a strike. Just got a piece of it to stay alive. That's the ultimate protecting the plate right there.
Yeah, that is.
Get out of here. That's one you just hope doesn't go fair, because it's not going too far.
That ball is going a ways. Springer going back. He is at the wall. Goodbye. Nomar Mazara, towering home run. A 2-run blast. It's now a 5-3 Astros lead.
I like to put those swings back to back. That little chop to tick the ball to stay alive. And then he launches one with a lot of hang time into the Astro dugout. It kind of came out of nowhere. That's kind of the way Nomar does it. Base hit to left, foul off a few, hit some soft singles, and then bang, 400 feet launched way out of here to right field. Here's the one where he's just staying alive, just kind of slapping that pitch in case it was a strike. Didn't want to take it for strike 3. And then a fastball on the inside part of the plate, then launched it 400 feet to right field, way up in the air. And that'll be it for Joe Musgrove.
Yep, that is the last pitch that Musgrove was going to throw tonight. That ball almost cleared the bullpen completely. So, pitching change underway. Rangers now trail by 2. We're back after this. Make sure exactly how he did that. I said, yeah, that's the way I taught you to do that. Remember? We were working on that the other day.
Those 400-foot long high fly balls.
Pat Neshek appearing in his 55th game. Last time that the Astros had Neshek in a ball game was Sunday against the Cubs. Worked a perfect inning. And on here to face Elvis Andrus. The base is empty and 1 out. Rangers with 2 across here in the 7th. They made this a 2-run game. Elvis 1 for 2 tonight. Had a 2nd inning single and also a strikeout. 0-2. Got him swinging. And Neshek gets the strikeout. There are 2 gone. Back to the top of the order. Carlos Gomez scheduled, but Jared Hoying, left-handed hitting outfielder, is going to come up as a pinch hitter. And the crowd already in booing mode.
They're booing the guy that's taking his place.
Yeah. You don't realize that Jared was coming up instead of Carlos Gomez. Jared, a 206 average, 5 RBI, still looking for his first major league home run. Almost had it night before last. On Monday night, hit a towering fly ball that I think went over the top of the foul pole.
And that thing came down near the foul pole. It couldn't have been more than an inch away from the foul pole. Almost looked like it hit off it. But Jared was feeling like he got a great shot at his first home run until that.
Neshek starts him off with a couple of changeups that are inside. Carlos Gomez talking to Carlos Beltran. 2-1 now. One more note on the home runs. Rangers now have homered in 16 straight games with Mazara's home run. That's their 2nd longest streak of the year. They had a 17-game streak back in the last week of June and the first week in July. Low and in, 3 balls and a strike. Well, Hoying trying to get aboard with 2 outs here in the 7th. Ian Desmond is in the on-deck circle. Neshek gets a little tapper out towards second. Kent boots it. Hoying is going to be aboard.
Here we go.
Is that what you have to be thinking if you're on the Astros bench?
I don't think they're. Well, right now they might be thinking that. Let's see. It was a wild pitch yesterday. Here's a little ground ball to second.
Going to be an error on Tony Kemp. Credit Jared Hoying. He was busting it down that line pretty well. Not taking anything for granted. So he is aboard on the error. Here's Desmond, who is 1 for 3 tonight. He takes strike 1. Desmond 1 for 5 in his career against Pat Neshek. Hoying with very good speed at first. 1-1 to Desmond. And Alex Claudio, last night's winner. Fly ball to right. George Springer backpedaling a couple of steps. That'll do it for the Rangers. They get 2 runs on 1 hit, an error, and leave 1. We'll take the 7th inning stretch here in Houston. It's 5-3 Astros. They have a lot of blue on the calendar now, and the only road games after tonight. 23rd, 24th, 25th against Oakland. Other than that, it's all home. Rangers an off day tomorrow. The A's come in over the weekend. The Angels come in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to Oakland for those three. And then Milwaukee and Tampa Bay close out the regular season at Globe Life Park. Now, bottom of the 7th inning, Rangers have cut it to a 5-3 Astro lead. 2-run home run by Nomar Mazara. And in now for the second straight night, Alex Claudio. Claudio got his 4th win in relief last night. This is his 33rd appearance of the year, a .291 ERA with a .271 opponent's batting average. Claudio with the win last night. That was the 35th win by the bullpen this year.
Yeah, it's been a good year for Alex. He went from being the kind of AAA big league guy that got called up in an emergency, sent back down when someone got healthy. Guy that, you know, you felt good when he was here, but you didn't believe he was going to be here for an extended period of time necessarily, to a guy who's now a fixture out in the bullpen. He's earned his spot out there, and I don't think he's looked at in that light anymore. Jeff Bannister loves to be able to bring him into a game and likes what he can do for the ball club now. He had to prove himself, and he did.
Fires a strike to Marisnik. Defensive changes for the Rangers. Jared Hoying stays in the ballgame, taking over in right field, moving from right to left. Nomar Mazara. That win last night for Claudio, the 36th relief win for the Rangers this year. 35 had been the club record. They have established a new club high. Also, the save last night, the 52nd for the Ranger relief corps. That matches the club record that was set back in 2004.
I think any time that you're a guy that throws 85 to 86 miles an hour, and you kind of use deception to get through the minor leagues, you do have to have the ability to prove yourself at the big league level. You're not given that extra chance that a guy that throws 95 miles an hour, the top prospect, gets. You have to prove yourself. And to his credit, he got through the minor leagues, and now he's proven himself at the big leagues with that 86 mile an hour fastball, along with his changeup. A little know-how out in the mound can get the job done.
Yeah. He's also been brought in situations that the other team has typically been pretty hot, swinging the bats well, and his lack of velocity plays right into the Rangers' hands as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, no matter who he follows, he's going to follow someone that doesn't throw anything like he does.
Yeah. He gets Marisnik to fly to right field to start things off. Now back to the top of the order for George Springer. The fastball that flips the inside corner. Springer, the leadoff home run. And then in the 3rd inning, he had a leadoff single. Strikeout in the 5th. Springer a .255 average as Claudio comes back to the plate. Alex, a long look in to Jonathan LaCroix. 2-1. Action in the Astros bullpen. Will Harris up again. He's appeared in each of the 3 games, or the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Looks like we're going to see him again here. Little cue shot off the end of the bat down the right field line in foul territory. 2-2. See a lot of balls hit just like that against Alex Claudio.
Looks like Springer's practicing Adrian's swing at the plate.
He's going to need a little better results if you want to.
Well, he's just starting out with it. I wonder if Adrian featured that when he was a young player, if that's developed in his 30s.
I don't know. I have to go back and look. I don't recall it, but didn't see him a whole lot either.
No, we didn't.
3-2 to Springer. Got him swinging. Down and in for strikeout number 1. Well, our AT&T high-speed internet replay. How about Adrian Beltre talking about going down to a knee? Brad Peacock. That was way out of here, 427 feet for Adrian Beltre.
You know, some people say, how could he hit that ball with his knee on the ground? And, you know, he really doesn't hit it with his knee on the ground. He hits it, and then his knee goes down on the follow-through. I don't think even Adrian could put his knee on the ground and hit a ball 420 feet. That would be pretty difficult.
Tony Kemp with his first at-bat of the evening. Came on as a pinch runner for Alex Bregman, who injured himself. And Kemp takes a strike, 1-1. Saw the numbers for Kemp, 225 with no home runs, 5 driven in. Claudio's 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Claudio, last night's ball game, threw just 10 pitches, working a perfect inning. And that was his 14th of this inning. Tony Kemp at the plate, batting in the second spot. Previously occupied by Bregman, who tweaked his right hamstring. Got him swinging. Couple of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning. Claudio sends the Astros down in order. After 7, 5-3 Houston. Supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Just visit MLB.tv for details. Well, we go to the top of the 8th inning, and Will Harris has indeed come into the ball game for the 3rd consecutive night for the Astros. He will face the middle of the Ranger order: Carlos Beltran, Adrian Beltre, and Rougned Odor. Rangers trailing 5-3. Will Harris appearing in his 60th ball game. One-time closer for the Astros, 12 out of 15. And league hitting .218 against him. He drops that big curveball in for strike 1 to Carlos Beltran, who's 1 for 3. Beltran, an RBI double in the 1st inning. Down on the count, 0-2. And more defensive changes. Yulieski Gurriel, who had been the designated hitter, now in the field playing third base. So the designated hitter is no longer in effect. Marwin Gonzalez liked it at second so much he went back there for the second time tonight. Chopped slowly out to the shortstop. Carlos Correa on the second base side, the first base side of second. That is out number 1. And before Adrian Beltre steps in, we're going to send it back to Dana Larson for a Chevy game break.
That's a gem if you can do that in Boston to the Red Sox. And all the hitters they've got. If they stay hot, they've got a chance to have 4 or 5 guys knock in 100 runs.
What do you think the chances are of Kevin Gausman and a pretty good changeup going?
Yeah, he's pretty impressive today. We saw him in Baltimore. Got along with a mid-90s fastball.
There's the Eastern Division and in all its glory. How about Boston with a 1-game lead now over Baltimore, 2 over Toronto. Don't count the Yankees out completely. They're only 4 back. They've gotten younger and better than the Yankees. Adrian 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs and a fly ball to right. 2 balls, no strikes. Yeah, that's toward the gap in right center field. That is going to the wall. Maristic over to play the carom. Beltre in at second with a 1-out double. And he got a pitch up. And we know what Adrian does to pitches that are up. He tattoos them, and he did that to the gap.
A pinch runner, it looks like.
The liner to Shields. Adrian said, how can you pinch run for me with my wheels?
That fastball hit the right center field.
So Adrian with the 2-bagger. He is in scoring position. And he is replaced by Delino DeShields. Maristic playing over in left center, had no chance to get over there to cut that off before it got to the wall. Well, doubles, all-time leaders. Adrian now passing Rafael Palmeiro with his 586th 2-bagger. He is now 19th all by himself. Adrian continuing to move up the all-time lists. Seems like game by game almost moving up. Here's Rougned Odor, who is 0 for 3 tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike. Odor now representing the tying run in this ball game. Average at 280. Team leader with 31 home runs. 85 RBIs. Got Delino DeShields out at second. DeShields not going anywhere, but Harris going to check him back anyway. Carlos Correa, the shortstop, playing a couple of steps behind him and shading up the middle against Odor. Marwin Gonzalez, the second baseman, splitting the distance between first and second. First baseman White picks it off, underhands to Harris covering. 2 gone with Delino DeShields moving to third. Jonathan Lucroy will be next. Lucroy, 2 ground outs tonight and a fly ball to center. Harris, the third pitcher used by the Astros tonight. First pitch to Lucroy. That was the one Jonathan wanted. He got that fastball up a bit. Fouled it straight back. Fox tracker showing you the location of that last pitch. That's in a hitter's happy zone right there. 1-1. We're able to lay off that big breaking ball. Tanner Scheppers got the save last night, loosening in the Ranger bullpen. DeShields stepping off a small lead at third. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last 15 ball games, Lucroy has hit at a .380 clip. He represents a tying run at home plate here in the 8th inning with 2 out. Harris a high set, the 1-2 pitch. The count evens. Lino is in as a pinch runner for Adrian Beltre, who had a 1-out double. Three and 2. Lucroy able to get on base. The tying runs would be on the base pad. Jurickson Profar is the next hitter. Full count with 2 outs. Harris and Evan Gattis not able to get together on the signs. DeShields keeping an eye on Harris from his vantage point at third. Right-hander's ready for the payoff pitch. Reset and try it again. Jonathan Lucroy, a lot of red squares there. Red rectangles, I should say.
Up and in, down and away.
Yeah, high and tight, low and away, and you got him. As you would most guys. He's pretty proficient there in the middle of that strike zone. Another 3-2 is coming. Up the middle, into center field, knocked down, but no play on Lucroy. DeShields scores. The Rangers have cut it to a 5-4 Astros lead.
Well, it's going to, at the very least, make it a nerve-wracking last inning and a third for the Astros, with a tying run coming to the plate every time. Jonathan battled in that at bat, got behind in the count, fouled off some pitches, got himself an RBI hit.
Like that cut fastball that Harris features. And Lucroy taking it right back from where it came. No, it's a 1-run ball game. Brent Strom, the pitching coach, going to go out there and have a chat with Harris and Evan Gattis. Jurickson Profar will be the hitter. Jonathan Lucroy driving in his 76th run of the year. Luke Gregerson going to start loosening in that Astro bullpen now. Well, the Rangers all year have had a mountain to climb. 44 times they have climbed that mountain. They are 33-10 in 1-run games. That's the most wins and the highest percentage in all of baseball. 44 come from behind wins the most in baseball. And we're not through with the 8th yet, so I'm not going to tell you about the 7 wins when trailing after 8. I've got hopes for him catching up here in the 8th.
Well, Jurickson had game winner last night.
Yeah, sure did. Hadn't hit a home run in a while either.
No, he's due for one.
Profar. And a walk and a run scored last inning. Harris checking first. 1 ball and 1 strike. Will Harris getting ready to throw his 19th pitch of this inning, so it has not been easy on him. Move up the 1-out double to Beltre and the 2-out run scoring single to Lucroy. In between a couple of groundouts, but not easy at bats for him. Now Harris is set for the 1-1. Missed with a breaking ball. 2 balls and a strike. Harris threw 19 pitches in his inning of work last night. Jurickson tried to check his swing and fell down in an effort to do so. 2-2.
Looked like he was thinking home run right there. He just got geared up to hit a fastball and was going to let it fly. Didn't stop his swing.
Well, the Astros faithful trying to back Will Harris. 2-2 with 2 outs. Breaking ball called strike 3. Profar's gone. Rangers get a run. They make the deficit just a single run. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, 5-4 Houston.
Another 1-run game in the final regular season game between the Rangers and the Astros. Rangers still with a chance to make it 16-3 against the Astros on the season. They've got 6 left with the Oakland Athletics, and after an off day tomorrow, they'll play the first of those 6 games. AT&T high-speed internet reminds us that game 1 between the A's and the Rangers is on Friday night. Rangers Live will get you started at 6:30. Rangers try to cool off the ever hot Chris Davis, at least always hot against the Rangers. Ian Desmond and the rest of the Rangers tried to improve upon their 7-6 record against the A's so far this season. Friday night is our next game, guys, on Fox.
All right, John, thank you. Yeah, some work to be done here tonight. Rangers doing it late as usual. They now trail 5-4 as Tyler White leads off the 8th inning for the Astros against Alex Claudio. Defensive changes. Mitch Moreland has come into the ballgame to take over at first base for the Rangers, and moving across the diamond from first to third is Jurickson Profar. So Moreland will hit in Adrian Beltre's number 4 spot in the order. Claudio slips and can't get the handle on the ball, and Tyler White's going to have an infield single.
Trying to get himself in position to catch it and throw it, and never could quite accomplish that. White's not a real fast runner, so he's trying to get in position to make the play before he actually caught the ball, and then just wasn't able to catch the ball to make the throw.
So Anderson Odor in to make sure that Alex is okay for one thing, but also to encourage him, say, hey, just get us a ground ball, we'll turn a pair behind you. A 1 on, nobody out. Carlos Correa, who was walked intentionally in the 6th inning, the hitter now. Correa 0 for 2 other than that walk.
He thought he waited on that one.
Tried to wait as long as he could.
Yeah, he did. Looked like he waited.
Correa struck out the first 2 times that he came up tonight. Those were against Derek Holland. Claudio, a check of first. And he got the fastball kind of almost by him that time. 0-2. Classic case of being behind the changeup and ahead of the fastball. Hot zones all across the middle of the strike zone for Correa. 1-2. Correa, 271 average. Second on the team with 90 RBI this year. Tyler White at first. Now 2-2. Astros with 9 hits. Rangers with 7 tonight. And this one popped up on the right side. Mitch Moreland. 1 gone. Correa befuddled by the offerings of Alex Claudio. And with Gurriel coming up, Jeff Bannister said, now I want to get the right-hander to come on in now. You got Gurriel and Gaddis. A couple of pretty tough right-handers. So Alex Claudio, again, a great job coming in. Works an inning and a third, gets a couple of strikeouts, leaves with a runner on base, his responsibility. Pitching change underway here at Minute Maid Park. We will take a timeout. We're back right after this. 5-4 as the Astros batting here in the 8th inning. 1 on, 1 out. Tanner Scheppers, the 29-year-old right-hander, has come into the ball game. His 5th appearance. First time he's gone back-to-back. He was in last night, getting his first save since 2013. Capped off the Ranger win in last night's ball game. He is not allowed a hit. He has not allowed a walk. A couple of strikeouts. Yulieski Gurriel, it's a chopper foul outside third. Strike 1. Gurriel tonight, a big RBI single in the 6th inning. It gave the Astros a 3-run advantage at that point. That was their 4th run of the game. Well, that is the difference in the ball game. That and Evan Gattis following that with an RBI base hit. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jake Diekman, major southpaw, getting ready in the bullpen. Scheppers with a 1-1 pitch. Now 2-1. A save last night for Tanner, just his 3rd career save. The previous save came in August of 2013 against the Los Angeles Angels. Gurriel able to get that fastball out of his kitchen. That's where Tanner Scheppers, we talked about this, Tanner Scheppers made a pretty good living inside on right-handers, and he was throwing the ball well in 2013. He established himself as one of the best setup men in the American League by pounding right-handers inside, then that hard breaking ball. Not quite close enough to get Gurriel to offer. Count is full. 1 out with Tyler White at first. Gurriel batting 5th. Evan Gattis, the catcher, is next. Left center field hit well. Mazara's watching this one go up against the wall. White being stopped at third. Rangers had a pretty good relay set up. Elvis got that throw from Mazara in good position. And Gary Pettis stopping White at third base.
Gary Pettis has seen Elvis make that throw a few times, and Elvis was poised and ready to throw. White's not the fastest runner. Elvis has got a strong, accurate arm, so that was a good call by Gary.
So, 2nd and 3rd now, and they're going to go ahead and walk Evan Gattis and load the bases and face Marwin Gonzalez. Gattis 2 out of 3 tonight. Had an RBI single his last time up. Not currying any favor with the Astros fans, but going to set up a force play and see if they can prevent any damage here in the 8th inning. Ball 4 is delivered. So Gattis down to first. The intentional walk to second. Intentional pass of the evening. Carlos Correa was intentionally walked in the 6th. What a good angle of the relay throw coming in to Elvis. Tyler White being held at third. Elvis had that ball just about the time that White hit the bag at third. That would have been virtually no contest with Elvis.
The only way he would have scored is if Elvis made a bad throw.
So the base is full now, and Doug Brocail out to have a summit meeting with the entire infield. Everybody in and devising a plan. How we're going to play him defensively. What do you plan on featuring to Marwin Gonzalez? Gonzalez is a switch hitter, so he'll bat left-handed. Guy that handles the bat very well. Rangers are going to align themselves defensively in double play depth. They'll play the middle of the infield back. Would love to get a ground ball to turn into 2 and get out of this inning on one swing of the bat. Elvis going to play right behind second base. You can see Rugnet over about midway between first and second. Here's Gonzalez, who is 0 for 3 tonight. 2 flyouts and a strikeout. Didn't get a fastball in the first pitch. He got the breaking ball instead.
A little over anxious with the bases loaded. He doesn't want to go out there for the top of the 9th inning with a 1-run lead with the Rangers. He wants to get some insurance runs right here. And he wasn't looking for a single either.
Well, Marwin Gonzalez has grounded into 14 double plays this year. Rangers would love for him to be number 15 right here. Great stop by Jonathan Lucroy.
He wasn't going to let that ball get by him.
Well, he surrounded that, smothered it. The upper body leaned over, so when that ball hit in the dirt, it came up and hit his chest protector and dropped straight down in front of it. Well, that's the result of hours and years of hard work on that play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Shepard's set. Way high and outside. 2-1. Lucroy going from blocking a ball to his right in the dirt. Had to spring out of the crouch to his left. Put his left arm back in its socket. That's about as far as you can go on our pitch tracker. The Fox tracker has number 2 down there in the left-handed hitter's batter's box. Number 3 is right-handed hitter's batter's box and high. And Gonzalez, a little better than the major league average, getting that runner home from third with less than 2 out. Tyler White down there at third, the big run that the Rangers are trying to prevent here. 2-1 pitch from Shepard. 3-1. And missing low. Well, Tanner's command not quite as good tonight as it was last night. And this is the 4th time we've seen Tanner in 5 ball games, 6 ball games. So it's a new experience for him. You see how he responds. The 3-1 pitch to Gonzalez. Up the middle by Elvis into right center. 1 run is home. 2 runs are home. Around to third goes Gaddis. A 2-run single by Marwin Gonzalez. It makes it a 7-4 Astro lead.
He got a ground ball. It was a hit hard. A little bit one way or the other. You turn a double play, get out of the inning. Unfortunately, this ground ball found a hole. Good sinker down at the bottom of the strike zone. You're trying to get a ground ball, trying to get a double play. See Elvis kind of shifting over, but that would have been some attempt at a double play if Elvis caught it going to his left and Rugnet came from the other side of Elvis over to second base to cover.
So that's going to do it for Tanner Shepard. Called, the bullpen goes out, and you would imagine it would be Jake Diekman coming in. He was the one that was throwing out there. So Astros have put 2 big runs on the board here. They now have a 7-4 lead, and we're going to take another pitching timeout. We will be back right after this. has come in. He inherits runners at first and third. Jake appearing in his 61st ball game of the year. He's 4-2, a 3.47 ERA. The league hitting 184 against him. That has gone up about 30 points in the last 5 outings. Last time out, he threw very well. Jake came into the ball game against the Astros, got a save here on Monday night. 13-pitch save and that 12-inning win for the Rangers. Colby Rasmus, the pinch hitter, and he takes a little bit low for ball 1. Rasmus getting for Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez had that big 2-run home run. That was back in the 2nd inning. Against left-handers, Colby Rasmus this season really struggling, 141. Diekman fires a strike. '29-year-old southpaw Jake Diekman trying to get the Rangers out of this inning without any further damage. 2-1. Rangers in an overshift against Rasmus. And Diekman fires a strike to him. Elvis Andrus 3 steps to the first base side of second. Profar cutting the splitting the distance between second and third. And Odor over in the hole on the first base side. 2-2 pitch. 3-2. Kind of the same situation that Tanner Shepard's got himself into with Marwin Gonzalez falling behind, getting into a fastball count. Rasmus, not much of a chance against left-handers if he has to contend with the breaking ball too, but 3-2, chances are he won't see one. 3-2 pitch. Outside corner call, strike 3.
Perfect pitch. He could contend with that even though he knew it was a fastball.
Yep. Oh, Diekman gets the punch out of Rasmus. 2 gone. Jake Maristic is next.
That is a strike. That's touching the bottom of the strike zone. Boy, when you see a guy stepping toward first base, throwing from second base, and then he hits that part of the plate, you just kind of go back to the bench.
Just exactly what Rasmus is doing.
Yeah, you hope you get it called a ball, but if it's not, you're done.
Oh, here's Marisnik, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Ground out, a pop out, and a fly out. Got Gaddis at third, Gonzalez at first. Ball 1. This year against Diekman, right-handers have hit just 168. Left-handers have hit 213. Those odd reverse split situations. Fouled away, that evens the count, and a ball and a strike. Chris Davinsky loosening in the Astros bullpen tonight. And Giles, their closer, blew the save last night. And the scheduled hitters for the Rangers in the top of the ninth begin with Nomar Mazara. 1-1 pitch from Diekman. Jake again ready, a check up first. 2-2. Marisnik helping him out a little bit. Jake with 10 pitches so far, 5 balls, 5 strikes. Number 11 on the way. Up the middle into center field, a base hit. In to score Gaddis. Marisnik, the RBI single. It's an 8-4 Astros lead.
Yeah, Marisnik got a pitch. That one was up a little bit, out over the plate. Marisnik, only a .213 hitter, but he made some contact there. Made solid contact there. 0 for 3 in the game. The pitch was up and away from him, really. He went out and hit it solidly up the middle.
Almost took Jake's right foot with it. So, Astros with 3 runs in the inning. And that takes him back to the top of the order once again. George Springer coming up for his 5th at bat of the night. Springer 2 for 4. Single and home run and 2 strikeouts. Nothing in 1. Well, the first run of this inning on the ledger of Alex Claudio. The next 2 have gone on Tanner Shepard's record. Shepard did not retire a hitter. Gave up 2 hits and an intentional walk. 0-2 to Springer. Astros, you can see tonight, 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Three runs across. Astros leading by 4 now. Got him swinging. Diekman gets a couple of strikeouts in his 2/3 of an inning, but Astros score 3 times. They strand 2. We're going to the ninth. 8-4 Houston. Well, Rangers one last opportunity. They trail by 4. Here in the 9th inning, Nomar Mazara, Elvis Andrus, and Chris Hoying, Jared Hoying against Chris Davinsky. Davinsky appearing in his 44th game of the year, 3 and 4, a .209 earned run average. Kind of a jack of all trades in the Astro bullpen. Anywhere from the 6th inning to the 9th inning.
Hey, he's actually started a few games too. Yeah. They've got a good bullpen. They've got good arms out in their bullpen. That's the strength of their ball club.
Colby Rasmus staying in the ball game to play in left field now. And Evan Gattis having to get a new glove. That apparently the laces broken the webbing. No equipment exchanged. 0-1 to Mazara. Nomar, that 2-run home run in the 7th inning. He is 2 for 3 tonight. Now with 18 home runs, 59 RBI. Davinsky floating that one in. We'll take you back to that 7th inning. 1 on and 1 out. And that fly ball just kept on carrying. Mazara hits home runs like that where they just get up there and they don't seem to come down. I mean, it just doesn't look like off the bat that it's going to go that far. He's a lot stronger than his fluid swing would make him look. And the ball he hit at Globe Life Park at 491 feet, I think it was. Chops that pitch foul from Davinsky, and it's still 0-2. Davinsky worked here on Monday night. Worked an inning and gave up a base hit, but no run damage. Got him swinging. Davinsky, a good change of speeds, and Mazara is the first out here in the Ranger ninth.
Davinsky's got a good changeup. He's tough to hit. Seems to see him. Feels like he pitches every game against the Rangers. 205 opponent's batting average, only 71 hits in 99 innings. Tells you right there how tough he is to hit.
Well, Ranger fans a little down, but still got a couple of bouts to work with. Elvis down in the count, 0-1. 1 for 3 tonight for the Ranger shortstop. Had a 2nd inning single. Up the middle, and bad hop gets off the shoulder of Marwin Gonzalez, and that's going to be a base hit for Elvis. Well, that was scalded up the middle. Elvis with his 2nd hit tonight.
He's shading him that way. He got to the ball. Look, I took a funny hop on him. Yeah, looked like he was going to be able to backhand it and make the play. That ball came way up and hit him in the elbow. And once all that happened, he still got enough on the throw to make Elvis run all the way.
No, Elvis aboard. That's the 8th hit of the night. And, Jared Hoying with his 2nd at bat. He came on as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning for Carlos Gomez and reached on an error. We'll see if the Rangers can turn this into something tonight. Infield single for Elvis. Hoying, 1 ball and 1 strike after that swing. Infield around to the right. The overshift on for Hoying. 2-1. Hoying this year at AAA Round Rock hit .269 in 100 ball games. Had 16 home runs and drove in 66. Two and two. Changeup's got a little turn me over action to it.
Yeah, that came left to right at the end. Caught the corner.
Now Davinsky with the 2-2. Full count. The Rangers still have the tying run in the dugout, but if Hoying gets aboard, that tying run will move to the on-deck circle, currently occupied by Ian Desmond. Looped foul the other way. Still 3-2. third tour of duty with the Rangers this year. Another 3-2 pitch. Hit hard down the left field line, but that's going to slice back into the seats. Davinsky reading the signs from Evan Gattis. Making it tough. It's his 8th pitch, so this will be at least a 9-pitch at bat. Davinsky patiently peering in, has the sign he wants. Check swing. Did he go on? Yes, he did.
Another good changeup by Davinsky. Utilized that a couple of times in this inning to get a strikeout. He's got enough fastball to make that really tough to hit. Boy, he's got good motion with it. And great location with good movement. And all the facets you need to get a strikeout.
So, Rangers down to their last out. Ian Desmond, 1 for 4. We'll try and keep this 9th inning going. Another high strike, nothing in 1. Desmond singled back in the first. Came around to score on Carlos Beltran's double. The 0-1. That run that Desmond scored was his 104th of the year. Fly ball to left field. Rasmus has room in front of the scoreboard and puts it away. And the Astros salvage the final game of this 3-game series. Rangers go down to defeat. They end up having a 5-5 road trip to Seattle, Anaheim, and Houston. Astros able to win tonight with 3 late runs, putting it away. 3 runs in the 8th inning, and that made a Ranger comeback improbable. So 8-4 the final here tonight. We'll be